It's July and it's hot outside. We've made it to basically the middle point of the summertime. We're in Bend. It's in full swing right now. We're going to be talking about what you do when it's 100 degrees outside. Today it's going to be just about 100 degrees. We're in mid-July like I touched on. It's all about the river. It's all about finding a body of water here in Central Oregon to cool off. So if this video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're getting after it right now.
If this is your first time on the channel and you'd like to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the bad, swimming in Central Oregon, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about what's going on here in Central Oregon. My name is Zach Nutter, this is Ryan Rudloff, both licensed brokers with eXp Realty in the state of Oregon, and we've lived here for over 30 years and we absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love to connect with you, help you make the smooth move here to Bend, Oregon. That being said, we're going to show you some of the amazing things that you can do here in the month of July. We're going to talk about what it's like here in that time. We're going to show you some of these amazing swimming holes. So if that sounds like something you're into, let's get after it. This is kind of the main entry point where people get in to float the river. So floating the river here is by far one of the most exciting, most have-to-do events. If you're coming to Bend for the first time or you're just looking to cool down, this is right by the Bend Park and Rec building. There's a ton of parking over here. You park, you float down. It's about an hour float. It's very easy. There's no rapids or anything like that except for the little water park that they've built right there. But super easy float. And then there's a little bus that'll come pick you up and it'll bring you back here. And there's a little fee for that. You know what they charge for that?
Just a couple bucks, I think. Yeah.
It's not much, but it's a lot easier than having a car here, having a car down there floating. You could essentially traverse back this way, but it's a pretty good walk. It'd probably take you an hour to walk back here. So, but this is one of the premier events, the premier things people do here in Central Oregon in the summer. There's tons of areas that you can just use kind of as a day use. We're gonna walk up and kind of show you where another one is. There's a ton of different bridges that cross the river here. We're gonna show you people floating. But while we're walking, let's talk about some of the things that you can do, what's going on in Bend typically every year in July.
Yeah, I mean, July is probably the marquee travel month of the year for just about anybody, right? They go somewhere on vacation, typically in the month of July, and Bend is no exception. We probably have the highest volume of people in town throughout the course of the year in the month of July, and it wouldn't be strange to me to think that there's 200,000 people or even more on any given weekend in July, as those are obviously the peak parts of a month when people do travel to and from their said destination. But Bend right now is on fire, figuratively speaking, because of all the activities going on here in town. We just had our 4th of July celebration, and that is a fantastic day in the Central Oregon area. We saw the fireworks go off on Pilot Butte, and then in Redmond they have their fireworks display at the county fairgrounds. And so leading into the July month, we just have so much going on. But the Cascade Lakes area, the river here, the golf courses are in full swing right now. The restaurants are just doing awesome with their outdoor seating right now. Oftentimes there are hours upon hours of wait to get into a restaurant if you don't have a reservation. If you do have a reservation at some of the marquee restaurants, you're gonna have to get that weeks in advance because there's a lot of people here and there's a lot of things to do. But Bend is definitely popping right now in July.
So we also, we have balloons over Bend. Munchin Music just kicked off. So Munchin Music is every Thursday. I think it's first one was 4th of July, right? Goes to the end of August.
To mid-August this year, yeah, 6 weeks.
So, and they've got concerts, vendors, food vendors. It's a super fun event every Thursday night where the community comes together.
Drake Park, yep.
In Drake Park. It's a really great event. It's very relaxing and chill. You can enjoy a bunch of music. If you want to, you could go up and have dinner in the downtown. Like Ryan said earlier, we've got a lot of options for outdoor seating. It didn't really used to be the case. We used to have decent outdoor options in the old mill right along the river, but when COVID happened several years ago, the city allowed a lot of these restaurants to kind of build these outdoor patios. They released a couple of the parking spaces and people built these outdoor patios, so we have a lot more outdoor seating downtown than we used to, which is really nice. So right now it's about 100 degrees. These are really the highest temps we typically get here. I think it's supposed to be like 102 today. Tonight it'll probably be 50, 55 degrees. So it's really nice. At night you can open your windows. Those winds coming off the mountains really cool everything down. But typically this time of the year, our temperatures are between 80 and 100 degrees. I would say more days we're in the high 80s, low 90s than we are up towards the hundreds. I'd say we probably get maybe a week or two of 100-degree temperatures at most every year. But we get a lot of great days in the 80 degrees area.
Yeah, so we're going over a footbridge right now. And this park that we just started the video at, and then the park that we're about to go into, they're on each side of the river. These parks didn't exist back in the early 2000s. They're only about 20 years old. And Reed Market Road is straight in front of us here, and they extended it through this particular stretch of the river back in the early 2000s. And it gave access to this part of the river for the first time basically ever, because where we're standing right now used to be basically all mill grounds. They were owned by the mills. This is where they stacked logs. This is where they floated the logs down the river and got them ready for production. But now it's all been repurposed. And so it's just a big park area. It's open to everybody, but it's now one of the most popular parts of the river in the Bend area. And so we'll have hundreds, maybe thousands of people who are utilizing this stretch of the river, whether it's on the banks in the grassy areas over here or actually on the water on a daily basis in the summertime. And there are clips of people, like say on the 4th of July, there was probably 5,000 people, I'm gonna speculate, that floated the river that day, maybe even more. And it was just a remarkable sight. And for the first time, dating back to like 2003, when Reed Market Road to our right actually opened and extended this far down, it gave us access to all of this area of the river, which is pretty cool.
It also connected the east side of town to the west side of town, really changing school district lines and different stuff like that, because you had easy access over. Before you had to go clear up and around, and now it's just a straight shot over. So this Reed Market extension with that bridge there was a huge thing that they did here. So right behind us, we're walking along this trail right now in Riverbend Park, or this is Farewell Bend Park. Riverbend was where we were, but right behind us is the access to the river trail. It's about a 3.5 mile loop. It is really scenic. So everywhere you go, it's not a hard hike either. It's got a little bit of elevation in 2 different spots, but it's a pretty simple trail. But it's beautiful. It runs along the river. There's a little bridge over, and then you come up the other side of the river, and it'll bring you right back to where we're at now. But it's about 3.5 mile loop. You can stretch it out if you take it all the way down to downtown. But this is one of the most used trails in Bend. It's super scenic. It's pretty amazing that we have this right in town. You've got the river running through town, and you've got this trail that you're out in the forest when you're out there. Once you get just outside of this little area we're in, there's no more houses anymore. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is the Southern Crossing neighborhood that we're in right now. And so what we're gonna do for the remainder of the video, we're gonna kind of zip up here a couple hundred yards, and we're gonna show you some houses that are on the river, but it also goes right into the Old Mill District, and it will give us an opportunity to show you guys the volume of floaters that utilize the river on a daily basis. Right now, it's only about noon, and it's about 100 degrees. And so over the next 6 hours or 7 hours, you can expect thousands of people to be hopping into the water to cool off. And so what we're gonna do now is just kind of go for a little stroll, show you guys some clips of this area, and then we'll talk to you guys in just a moment. further on this path here, and now we're actually kind of in a residential neighborhood to our right. These are polished townhomes that are probably, what, 5 years old, Zach, or so?
Yeah, some of them are actually newer. The ones closer to the road over there were finished just the last couple of years, but most of them are probably 5 to 10 years old. Very spectacular townhomes.
Right on the river.
Yep. The only thing between them and the river is this path that we're on right now, which is literally feet from the old mill. We're going to go under this little pedestrian bridge here, and we'll be right in the old mill district. So you can see over there where we kind of started the video, you can see a lot of people launching their boats. You see people on their stand-up paddle boards that they'll take and they'll paddle upriver, and then they'll come downriver, and they'll do that a lot. It's actually, it looks pretty calm, but it's a pretty decent little current, so it's quite a bit of work paddling upstream. But there's so many people. You'll see people with their dogs, you see people with coolers, you see people listening to music. There's so much cool stuff going on down here. You'll see people playing football, rugby, soccer, ultimate frisbee in the park over there. This is just a major hub in the summer, and there's so much stuff going on. In a minute, we're going to show you where all the concerts happen. This time of year, the concerts are fully ramped up. You've got concerts almost every night, feels like. A lot of great shows. But this area, like Ryan was talking about earlier, this was nothing 20 years ago.
Yep.
The first thing they built down here was the movie theater, and it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was a 10-plex.
You know,
it was a big deal.
Ride our bike down here to the movie theater, and it was old mill buildings that were still standing, and nothing else. But yeah, so farmers market is in full bloom now, if you will. Wednesday they have it downtown. Saturday they have it in Northwest Crossing. Like we said, concert schedule's really ramping up. What else is going on this time?
We've got the Farewell Festival.
Oh yeah, Farewell Festival.
That's a big concert. It's the second year. It's a concert festival. It's at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds, and it's a country music themed festival. I think it's 3 days. They bring in artists from all over, and they brought in, I think, 30,000 people last year. It was kind of a pilot study. They were just experimenting with it. It worked out. If you have to catch a flight that day, maybe go a little early, just saying. It's on the same road the airport is to the fairgrounds. But that was really popular. The Deschutes County Fair is a little bit later in the month. It starts towards the end of July. But yeah, there's just stuff going on constantly. We did touch on Balloons Over Bend. That's a really cool event that happens early in the morning for about 3 or 4 days later in July. And I think it's over at like 𝐉𝐨𝐬𝐺 Elementary School, big old grassy field area, and there are dozens of balloons that just lift off at about 6 a.m. and they just go up into the sky and just carry on their way. It's a pretty cool scene if you want to get up early and go check that out. But
a lot of the trails up off Cascade Lakes Highway, Green Lakes, South Sister, a lot of those are becoming accessible now as the snow melts.
Good point.
Off the mountains. So during the winter, you really can't hike those areas because there's feet and feet and feet of snow. But right now, as the snow melts, I don't know if we can see the mountains from here. We'll try to get you a shot of it here in a minute. But you can really tell that the snow is really coming off. The mountains are turning from beautiful white to like this white-brown combo. And by the end of August, early September, they'll be pretty barren of any snow.
Yeah.
So a little landscaping going on behind us. They keep the grounds around here really nice. So this is how close those houses are to the old mill.
Yeah.
We are in the old mill now.
There's the gap right to our right.
One of our major shopping centers here. You'll find anything you'd find in kind of an outdoor mall anywhere across the U.S. You've got the big box stores. You got some smaller mom and pop shops. You've got some great restaurants, great patio seating. A lot of people want to sit outside. Next couple days, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Feels like you're in a blow dryer out here right now.
Yeah, it's hot.
One of the nice things about the heat here, let's go up here and show them the amphitheater, but one of the nice things about the heat here is we have next to no humidity.
Right.
So you're not, I mean, you do sweat, but
Sure.
you're not dripping sweat when you walk out the door from the crazy humidity.
Absolutely. So this is a little footbridge here. This is kind of like the gateway to the Hayden Homes Amphitheater behind us. Look there, you can kind of see it. That's where the concerts are. And so this is all real-time video from that little neighborhood that we were in. We didn't cut it or anything like that. But this is where all the floaters come underneath this bridge too. And on a really hot day, later today, you're gonna see hundreds of people. It's almost like a barge, one raft after another. They're all interconnected. And so it's just one of the things to do. A lot of people will come visit for a weekend. They plan on going to a show at night, but during the day they'll go float the river and stay cool, but they're all centrally located, kind of right here in the old mill area, the downtown area, the West Bend area. It's pretty cool. But I want to touch on what Zach was talking about regarding the mountains and the snow. My wife and I were just talking about going for a hike, and I suggested South Sister, and knowing that it might be a little early still just due to the snow. There's probably no snow in like the foothills or where the trees are, but if you get up above the tree line, it's probably still just snow covered. So generally those higher elevation hikes, like say Broken Top or South Sister or Mount Bachelor, maybe wait till later July, and then August, September, October are always just fantastic months for those. Even October is a great month to go hiking.
So the amphitheater that we just showed you guys is an excellent venue because it's sloped, so it's all a grassy area. Most all the tickets are general admission. They have, each concert kind of has its own set of rules. They do build some big stands, some cabanas, some VIP areas that you can pay extra for, but the majority of all the seating is standing room only, general admission, but the way it's set up, there's really not a bad seat in the house. And if you go to one side or the other, typically you can stand pretty close to the stage with an unobstructed view. That's one of my secrets, so don't be telling anybody about that. But you can see they're setting up for a show right now. It's a great venue. It's one of my favorites. You've got all these people. During concert night, you'll see people come out here and anchor down and sit here and listen to the show. The grassy areas all around us, people used to bring their camp chairs out here, and these areas would just be filled. Right. Because it was free. You could listen to the show, you could hear it amazing. They put the kibosh on that several years ago because artists weren't wanting to come and watch or come and play anymore because they weren't filling the stadium, because so many people knew that they could come and listen to it and even see a part of the show from here. One of the other cool sneaky tricks is Greg's Grill, Vapiano, some different areas have access. Greg's Grill particularly, there's a minimum. I assume it's dependent on the show and how highly anticipated or packed the show is. But there's a minimum. You can reserve a table, you pay the minimum, and the minimum is just, you're usually going to pay that for food and drink anyway, and you get to listen to the show. So that's a really sneaky, cool way to watch a show if you don't want to pay the high prices.
It's one of my favorite ways to watch a show. We did that with Chris Stapleton last summer. And so we were at Anthony's and we just hung out, big old round table. We had maybe 3 families together collectively. There was 12 of us. And we just ate normal, we drank normal, and just had a great time, and it was all good. There wasn't like some stress to try and meet the minimum or have a leftover tab afterwards to meet it. It was just, you're hanging out on the patio, you're watching the sun go down, you're watching everybody in the river kind of jockey for position in their canoes to anchor down, and then on the other side of the river, you got to listen to one of the premier country artists at the moment. It was pretty cool.
So yeah, as you can see, there's a limitless amount of things you can do here in the summer. I'm sure we haven't even scratched the surface. These are the things that we enjoy and that we think that if you are coming to Bend, you should absolutely take advantage of. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions on things to do here in July, you want to look at homes, you're thinking about moving here, we'd absolutely love to help you guys. So reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. You will get us directly. You're not going to get somebody else that works for us. You're going to get us. So thank you guys for watching, supporting us. We appreciate you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.